Welcome to Beyond the Flesh, where we bring you the latest insights and discussions.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our podcast. Today, we will be driving into something that feels straight out of a sci fi movie, transhumanism. But first, before we get into the nitty gritty of things, let's introduce ourselves. I am Kemi. We have Riley. There we have Carol. It's usually the four of us, but unfortunately today there's only three, so you would have to take what you could get. But, let me ask you this. What if you could live forever? What if diseases were a thing of the past? Or what if your mind could exist in a digital space, free from your body? Would you love that? Would you go for that? Maybe not. Maybe I will. I don't know. Or does the idea of upgrading ourselves with technology feel a little unnatural? Is the core of transhumanism. It's a movement dedicated to using technology to overcome the limits of biology. But it's not just about cool gadgets or futuristic dreams. It raises some pretty big questions about what it means to be human. Now, today we are going to be going into, some aspects about transhumanism. We're going to be taking a deep dive, deep into the ocean, the deepest depths that we can go to, we'll be going to today. So, here's what we'll be covering. Where transhumanism came from, what is transhumanism, which I already mentioned, the key thinkers and shapers of this theory itself, the technology that makes it real, the ethical challenges we will face. We will also speak about some pros and some cons, and obviously, of course, we'll also give our opinions based on the topic itself. Now, would you embrace this future, or would you stick to being 100% human? Half man, half robot, fully human, fully done, not fully human, up there, out there, doing what we're supposed to do. But let's get into it. So, to kick it off, I'm just going to give you a small history about it. Where did the idea of enhancing humanity ever come from? So we're going to go back in time, back before Daniel did born anyone, we did born, We find the roots. It can be found in philosophy. For example, Mr. Friedrich Nietzsche, they said I'm calling this correct, I don't know. He talked about something called the Superman. Another word, but I can't pronounce that, someone who could transcend ordinary human limits. But back then, this was more of an abstract idea, not anything tied to technology itself. Now, fast forward into the future, into the 20th century, the movement started to take shape. In the 1980s, Max Moore, the founder of the Extropy, if I'm calling that word correct, Institute, pushing for continuous self-improvement through technology. Then in 1998, the Transhumanist Declaration was published, a kind of manifesto that outlined the goals of transhumanism. I don't know if anybody here knows any more information about that manifesto itself. Maybe they would like to give a little something.
Well, I think they were saying that they was co-founded by him and something called the Extropy Institute.
Extropy Institute.
Yeah. To promote the idea of transhumanism. I think it was basically like a way to tell people how transhumanism can basically push us into the future and how it can bring us forward into a more technological age. So that was basically that.
Okay, so next question is, if humanity has always been about self-improvement, from inventing tools to developing medicine, is transhumanism really that radical, or is it just the next logical step? Do you think, of course, that's the next step we're supposed to be thinking, or, I don't know. There is another philosopher who speaks about here. His name is Nick Bostrom. These are some of the people. Well, he, besides the other guy before, Mr. Moore, he is one of the persons who really shaped the perspective behind transhumanism. He is like the philosopher of transhumanism, as they say. He is famous for simulation hypothesis. The idea that we might be living in a computer simulation, but his real focus was on existential risk. That's a word I can't call. Anyway, here's a scary thought. What if AI gets so advanced that it decides humans are unnecessary? There is a book he has called Super Intelligence. Bostrom explains or explores how we could develop AI responsibly so it doesn't destroy us. Do you think we can actually control something that is said to be smarter than us, or is this considered wishful thinking?
I think that's wishful thinking.
David.
But if we are the persons who's developing this artificial intelligence, can't we introduce some cutoff point at where it would know, okay, you reach your peak? Or y'all think technology might advance far beyond that of itself?
Well,
Far beyond that.
I think they want to push the boundary of it, so maybe far beyond. But
So, I mean, it might be able to develop a consciousness for itself.
Probably.
Okay.
But I on that too, one you were talking about Bostrom, and I think that was a very that's a powerful thought when it comes to Bostrom, because his thing about super intelligence, where basically they want humans to surpass they want AI to surpass human intelligence. That's kind of crazy. But we already see how AI has been transforming, and we already see how certain things has been taking over when it comes to like technological wise and so forth. And then I think one of the persons you mentioned, I don't know if you already mentioned her, Natasha.
No, Natasha Vitamorna. Yeah. I was getting to her eventually.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you talk about her first, and then I'll piggyback off of whatever you talk about. But I really,
just a bit more about Max Moore. Max Moore, they said, on the other hand, is all about optimism. He coined the term extropy, which is basically the opposite of entropy. While entropy is about decay and chaos, extropy is about growth, order, and improvement. He also came up with the proactionary principle. Instead of fearing new tech, he says we should approach it boldly, weighing risks about not letting fear hold us back. Would you agree with this approach, or would you disagree? I mean, obviously you would have to put some sort of caution on top of it for sure, because
that's
yeah, because I don't think that's something that everybody wants to be involved in either, and I don't think people would understand the idea of it either way. But I think Max in himself was a overachiever in a sense. Like, he used to think outside the box.
Yo, to place.
Because I mean, for you to bring a manifesto of something that a lot of people don't even understand, is like you.
Well, probably Max already got a glimpse of the future, so he already see what it would be like. Well, so maybe. He just, you never know.
Maybe.
But
yeah.
You know, I mean, when they say transhumanism, they mean, like, remember Daniel saying, it's like physically replacing parts of your body with technology. You know, so as I say, imagine like leaving your head and replacing your lower body with the robot. I mean, how that going to give?
I don't even know. And how is it? How is that beneficial to us though? And one of the things one of the things we need to look at also is like, what does it really entail? Because one of the things I think now we can move on to is like human enhancement. So this is like one of those core concepts of transhumanism, where they talk about like genetic engineering and brain-computer interfaces and cybernetic implants to make ourselves better. Now,
yes, I have some examples there.
Yeah, for example, Elon Musk, his company Neuralink, you know, they're working with on a computer brain interface that could potentially become an enhanced cognitive ability to treat neurological problems. Now, in essence, if that is true, if that is so, that's something that would be interesting. And I think people, they like what Elon Musk bring to the table, especially people that are of more financial sustainability. Yeah. So people, I think, would invest in those kind of things because they genuinely, I think they like the idea of it and how Elon Musk pushes his stuff. It kind of bring it about, like, it makes it easier for life to happen, and I think that's one of the things that's happening right now.
One advantage I see they have here talking about, the brain chip interface is maybe curing paralysis through the brain chip. I mean, that's a win. If you could cure that, then fine. But for me to move objects with my mind like Magneto, I mean, it's okay, but again, that's what made me lazy.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not physically doing anything. I just sit down and I just get bigger. I know you guys ever watch Wall-E. It's the Disney movie where most of the people, they just been sitting in chairs and communicating with other via the technology, and they just, like, you see how big they got, because all they did was they had no physical nothing. So
that's true.
I mean, we have another before I speak about the other example, let me go back to the lady. Her name, as Carol mentioned, Miss I can't find she.
Natasha?
Wait, Miss Natasha Vitamour. Miss Natasha Vitamour, she's an artist and a futurist who designs concepts of what future humans might look like. She is most famous for her primo post-human envisions human with enhanced senses, regenerative capabilities, and even memory backup system. She also speaks about morphological freedom, which is basically the right for you to modify your body however you want. This could mean anything from genetic engineering to uploading your consciousness into a computer. Do you think it's right to redesign your body however you feel, please? I mean, when you look at people who get all them butt lifts and all them nose jobs and implants, they're practically already enhancing their bodies. So
yeah,
I mean, so maybe the next step might be to inject a robot bottom, I don't know, a hand, something like that. I mean, let we say we have a good example of it. Everybody know Riley likes basketball. He likes sports, and if you know Riley, his knees, they're not well.
Yeah.
You have knee problem. So Riley, if you could replace your knees with something robotic or something to assist you to prolong your basketball life, would you think about doing that?
So yeah, I feel I will do, yes, because I just say it has some enhancement that the beneficial for us to check. So it's like if I could think my knee, get some kind of robot thing for my knee, so I don't have any problems again. I actually could, go on with my basketball thing without having it and have to rest. Yeah, for sure. And then you said like for the butt lift and all kind of things. That I feel like that there is a part, Yeah.
For me, yeah.
Plastic substance in the body already, So it's like, so as I say again, the way I won't see it as that, if like, sometimes people like get an accident and like the face, the skin come off and what's not, and if sometimes they take other part, like most of your ass, and I feel like that's something that I won't consider, but like those plastic surgeries and so, yeah, I will consider that is, yeah.
So you mean for recreational use, for fun and good times is a no-no. But as we stated before in our first video, if let's say a child is born with brain cancer or brain tumor or something like that, and you could put in a chip or you could put in an artificial brain, let's say you get to that point where you could help this child, and let's say they then need a new hand, a new foot, and the parent of this child wants to keep them, and they decide, okay, I'll prefer my child to be half cyborg, half robot, officially go into transhumanism, than to kill them or to leave them to suffer. For me, that's fine. But for when let's say let's say you're doing it because you want mechanical breast, because you want to be able to shoot bullets out of your breast, for example, or because you want to be able to shoot sperm 50 yards away. Just giving an example of something. Or you want to be able to run fast, throw fast, like just super strength, supervision. For me, that is a bit too far.
Yeah. When you're trying to do it for your own personal gain rather than the actual benefit of it all, I think that's where it should be a cutoff point. Not you wanting to tell me that, because a girl say your penis too small, you want to go find a way to enlarge it robotically. Yeah, them kind of things then don't make no sense.
Something else now. Remember we say about these chips in the brain, right? We know we have, Carol, I know you have more information about it. I don't know if it's called CRISPR or CRISPR, and genetic engineering is a gene editing tool that can cure diseases or even enhance physical and mental abilities. It's a bit controversial in the terms of, you wanting to create a perfect baby, but if it's a case where, I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
think
from creating stuff, child is messing with God's or whoever is up there genetic genes or design itself. So let me hear your feedback on that.
Honestly, so when I looked up that thing and it was talking about CRISP, where they're saying that it's where scientists can edit DNA, I was like, at first I was confused because, like, what do you mean edit DNA? Then as I researched it, it became a little more clear. Yes, they gave some simple examples, but then there was this one thing, and I think I mentioned it when we were first recording, that there was this one example where they were saying that if the parents want to have a child born a certain way, they can edit the gene for it to be changed into a certain thing. For instance, if they want the child to come up with blue eyes, because that's what they want for the child, they can edit the DNA. Now, for me, that's ridiculous, because if you want that, then you go find somebody who has blue eyes and try to get that pure properly, and move on from that. But not because you want the child to look a certain way. Maybe the child might come out. I guess you never know how the child here gonna come out anyway. But maybe beforehand they want to say, okay, I want my child to go long here, so let me go find a way to edit the DNA to make sure my child come out with long here, coolie here. That's ridiculous to me. But that's something I see. That's something I see people who have money and feel like they can do whatever they want doing because they want to do it. But also, what interested me about it is the part about genetic diseases, because I know there are a lot of genetic diseases that people really, battle with and so forth. So if in the case like that, where you could maybe try to cut out some of that thing from out of humanity, then fine, because a lot of diseases now, they're inherited, a lot of them. And so if there's a way to cut out that, then fine. But then for the ridiculous things, like you wanted to change the DNA because you want a child to look a different way, and doing that shit from embryo stage, that's a different kind of mindset.
I think there's something we did before, but this is in Human Evolution, where he was telling us there is something you could do during pregnancy to see if the child is gonna come out with any disabilities or stuff like that. So if you want to terminate the pregnancy, if it's a case where technology is being used where you could remove that gene and maybe replace that specific gene with the correct gene, then fine. Then that could help to give the child a better life, because we all know with disabilities it's something that's a bit hard, it's expensive, it's time consuming, and it can be a bit emotional and stuff like that. Back to something when you mentioned the brain chip. I mean, I don't want a chip in my brain, because what say one day you decide to press a button, I gone stupid, or what if I start to miss time in terms of I wake up one night, Riley wake up one night, he see blood pon his hand. He want to know how he wake up blood dip on his hand. he killed somebody. Somebody don't control his mind. He killed somebody he don't know. There is a show called Black Mirror. I don't know. I think Carol, you say you know of it, right? You
But yeah,
say you
I know
don't
of
know
it.
of
I
it.
know of it.
This is something you never watch it. This is something you need to watch. For me, it has a lot of futuristic stuff and stuff that does make you really think, boy, what if? Because they had a thing where they implanted a chip in the mind. There are 2 episodes, and none of the episodes are connected to one another. But that's not the point. They implanted a chip in the back of the hair, and you could look at your memories. So people stopped looking at TV. They started to look at one another memories. So this guy, he knew his wife was cheating on him, but he didn't really have evidence, and he kept rewinding a specific memory, and he asked her to see a memory. She showed him the memory, she transferred it to him, and he saw exactly what he wanted to see. When they were having sex, they were having sex within their memories. So when you look at them physically, they're just lying there going, nothing, no emotions, nothing.
Yeah.
But when you look at the display in the mind, they're actually having sex within the mind. There was another one where the mother, their chip was implanted in the child, and the mother could censor what is going on in the world. So it had this dog that used to be extremely aggressive. The mother censored out that dog, so she wasn't able to see. So anytime the dog was barking, she would see a blur. There's another episode where a chip was in the mind, and this guy was investigating what was happening. As a guy killed some family or whatever. So his punishment was he would get stuck in a loop within his mind forever. The other guy's punishment, because he committed a crime too, he would be blocked out from the entire society. So based on the chip in his mind, when somebody comes up to him, they would just look like a blur. He would not be able to see their faces.
Yeah.
For me, might as well I just die if that's something you plan to do. But I think that is something I wanted to talk about. It's a bit too Black Mirror-ish for me, thinking of somebody introducing a chip into my mind. No, I don't know. I mean, there are a couple more points here that we have to cover, of course. Let me hit you up with another one, so maybe you could kick off something else, Carol. We already spoke about diseasing. Of course, diseases, sorry. Of course, if it's to enhance a disease, fine. Not to make a disease, change it, alter it to make life different, extend the life of people different. Fine. If it's for me just enhancing it because you want, as we say, breast that a shoot bullet, that making sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, another wild idea. What if you could upload your mind into a computer, live digitally forever? Now me want to go. That place you had too much of evil and it's expensive. Do you know that we're the only people who pay to live on a planet that provides everything for you? So why the ass I gonna stay here forever? To suffer forever? No one, you know, like to watch a movie. Another series called Altered Carbon. It's a series where you can upload your mind to a cloud, and if you die, you could just get a new body and put that mind in it. It sounds nice, right?
Sounds nice, but is it?
But if this video, only the elites or people who had extremely amount of money, they could afford that. Maybe people who don't have money, they have to scavenge for scraps and so for where they could get. But do you think that this is something that is essential for being a human, if you could transcend beyond actually physically being here and let your robot live for you? Or do you think, what y'all think about that?
I don't want that.
The head drag.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I want when the time come for me go, I go and rest in peace. Let me go. Because I don't need to be I don't need no robot to come take over my life and walk around like me. Me don't live. So the robot, for me, the robot ain't even me. The robot is the robot. Because what the robot might do ain't what I might do.
But Carol, what if one day you're just tired and you just be like, I can't go school today. Let me send school Libot. Instead of Libert, let me send school Libot. let me let you go school and take in the information for me. How about that? That sound nice?
It sounds good, but in reality, when the bot goes to learn, what will I retain?
You retaining the information too, because your brain is connected to his. Your body just physically resting.
Okay. All right. It sounds good. I
So
mean,
you agreeing?
I agree. It sounds good, but is it something that I would do? Maybe. If it's something that I really want, no. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. But I don't know. I just can't picture a world where, I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later because we have already seen that people are already implanting chips. I think one of you know of an example where somebody
Yeah, I
with
was
the
talking
chip on
about
the
it.
credit
Yeah,
card.
I
Yeah.
was talking about it because it's called what are they? Biohacking. I think that's one of the technological advancements they were saying related to transhumanism, biohacking, where people can now take things into their own hands by experimenting when it comes to like enhancing their bodies and minds. For instance, you can become a DIY cyborg. For example, with biohacking, you could implant the chip and it could help you to unlock doors, access anything. You could use it as a passport, you could use it as an ID, you could use it as your ATM card, and you could use it to store data. Now, it's a lot. If it's something, is it something that is happening now? Yes, because I watched a story where one of the countries, now I can't remember specifically the name of the country, but there is a country that has already started implanting nanochips inside of people's hands here. So anywhere they go, all they do is tap their hand here, here, here. And I
You
don't know
see,
how it functions because it's like that one chip can open a door, but then when they go to the ATM, it turns into the ATM card. Like, I don't get it.
well, that sounds like the motherboard of all chips. Because what
Exactly.
if you're living in countries that are not so technologically developed? That chip would be very it would not be useful. It would be useful in the sense if you have to use it as a passport, and we already realize that they're already moving to digital currency like Bitcoin and all these other shit that they're using. So sooner or later they might tell you, yo, Riley, you have to take this chip or you can't eat, you can't buy food, you can't do this, you can't travel. So I guess the world would then be split into people who want to be transhumanized to those who just want to be humans.
I guess so. And then there was I don't know, AI. I don't know if y'all know that, AI, even though AI is its own big topic, AI has so much to do with transhumanism because they're saying that AI is not just about, making smarter robots, AI is now becoming a way where they are now trying to make AI so much more human that they're trying to put human-like aspects inside of AI. Soon, what they're trying to accomplish is basically AI becomes so human-like that it starts expressing itself even emotionally as a human. But do you think that is possible? Like, do you feel that way? I mean, it's already started where AI has started to communicate with you even on a normal basis, like just a normal human. And so,
For for the amount of shows that they make where they show you that it might be possible,
mhm,
it's a possibility that is already in the making. So for a robot to develop human consciousness, that's the next step they're looking to take. Because then, if that happens, that means they reach the ultimate goal. That means then people could probably then officially or properly fuse our biogenetics with their artificial genetics and then or whatever, and create an official superhuman, which is what they're looking for. So instead of just physically now just maybe putting on a robot's hand and a robot foot, you could then do that. So I remember before we were discussing, let's say Riley decides he wants to do that. He wants to be a robot and I want to be a robot. We gonna make kids. We gonna make kids, right? Because as much as you could grow you could use a 3D printer now to grow an arm, to make a gun, to make this, to make that. You could use a 3D printer to print a child, and as again, why not do the gene coding? Oh, I want my child to look like this, I want the child to look like that. And that child could then be considered for me a part of transhuman, because you did not come through the official portal that a human came through, you were made in a lab.
Yeah.
So you are now fully transhumanized.
Yeah, definitely. And that's how far this thing really can go. And that's why I said, like, for me it's just mind-boggling how easy it is for people to see, like, there's so much changes happening. And I think one of the things we were talking about was like how AI can one of the benefits I think for that part of AI was when we were talking about how AI has now, they are now starting to introduce certain stuff where AI can help with medical diagnosis. Now that's a good thing. That for sure I would accept, because that would also help the doctors in their fields, make the job a little bit easier. I'm not saying to take over the doctor's job, but to make the doctor's job a little bit more easier when it comes to medical diagnosis. Because a lot of the times, sometimes we go to the hospital, sometimes we feel like a good job isn't done when it comes to finding out what's wrong. Probably AI, when AI gets that starts making those kind of analysis, it could maybe pinpoint certain direct diagnosis to help limit the unknown things that could happen. Because a lot of the times things happen and we don't even realize. Because for instance, somebody who may have not even, they went to take a checkup, they went get one opinion, second opinion, the doctors ain't find nothing. Doctors ain't find nothing. All this time they know they're feeling sick, and then long down the road you find out, oh, the person sick with cancer, something. And it was never no early detection for them to save anything. Couple months down the road you hear that they died. So I think like something like that is could be beneficial. Like, yeah.
So what's your opinion on this, Riley? I know you agree with us, but we'd also like to hear like your opinion, your reasoning, if you think like in that case where you have a AI to assist a doctor, because we're only humans, of course we're going to make mistakes. We're not perfect, and we're not, for example, a surgeon, you need a study hand. What if you're having an off day? Like, what is your opinions on this side of the topic?
As I would say, I feel these have them easier for doctors to identify like the disease or whatever the person have at the moment. And I just ain't feeling it that day. I mean, right now doctors can't really find out what's going on in the human body without technology. So
that's true.
So we need technology, even if doctors them there still, because doctors them got put to the X-rays, all kind of things, like so scans. We actually need technology. So if technology could advance to that kind of I feel like it would be beneficial too, for that, as I would say. So I do agree with that, because if you could pour something in your body to see what actually going on in your body to help you like see. Because sometimes the scans, the X-rays just tell lies. Sometimes they might say, oh, not going on with you, then as how it's not going on with you, then later in the year or years.
But question now, right? So if we decide to step into the transhuman society where we decide to replace our limbs, our body parts, etc. with robotics or with that of AI, won't you think the AI could just detect, okay, something is malfunctioning in one of your organs, let me fix it for you one time? Do you think that's a sweeter idea? Maybe it's just best to just officially intertwine and become part of that society instead of staying human, where we are prone to making mistakes and we are still prone to diseases?
You see the way you say it make it sound so nice, right? That That would be nice. But then is the longevity of it, like, is how long will it last? How long will it be creditable? You know? Because even though yet
Well, that,
because yeah, I mean, even though they do that, right? You ain't think that something might go wrong. Something, because
what if
that's
you
me.
forget to hook up a screw?
That's
What if you
and that's
want
what I'm
to
saying. Like,
oil change?
that's what I'm saying. Like, for
Right.
me, it's so much about the good that yes it could do, and all the things. But for me, consciously, I'm gonna be thinking about the longevity of it. Will this sustain? Will I be able to? Will this be able to last me? And how long it gonna last me? Because everything lasts a while. Everything got a lifespan. Even buildings got a lifespan. Nothing sturdy forever.
I think, according to what Miss Natasha Vitamore stated, it's freedom. If the morphological freedom to do what you want to do with your body. So they would have some people who are for and some people who are against. But right now, I think most of society seems to be pushing towards tech. Because we're looking at the sweet picture that they're painting. We're not thinking, as you say, about long-term effects that these stuff could have on you, which could be population depletion, could also be harmful to the environment, because again, you want more metals, you want more stuff to create the artificial part of this transhumanism section. Then that's more digging, more mining for the elements to make technology. That's also decreasing the earth, mother earth. That's digging into whole goodness, that's another depletion there. I think you mentioned before something about nanotechnology, Carol. Maybe you could give us a bit, and maybe me and Riley give feedback on that and see how it goes, because that is part of it as well.
I remember when we had a discussion with Daniel. Daniel was saying, like, nanotechnology is like on a molecular level. For instance, I think they're tiny robots that you can place inside your body, and a lot of the times right now I think it's already been introduced to humanity, where it's used to target diseases inside of your body. So they put this little bug inside, they now I think they want to enhance it where it can create a strong material base for your organs. So for example, I remember, even for me, like, I had did a lobectomy. So if maybe that bug was existing when I had that lobectomy, where I had to remove just a small piece of my my lungs. So if maybe that was present at the time and I could have afforded it, and they put the bug inside, then the bug can curate like a cover, like a casing for that specific area that was infected, so that it could heal, and then it would turn into such a strong base that it wouldn't get affected again. So that's what. So you mean
it's healing and staying in your body. So it ain't creating whatever force field or whatever mesh. No. And then when my body done repair itself, it come out. Well, how me go can't want that? Okay. We speak English. Exactly. I don't want that.
So, for example, they were saying that researchers are now using nanoparticles that can deliver a drug. For instance, like if someone has a cancer cell, then the bug can deliver a drug to the cancer cell to minimize the side effects of the side effects on the healthy tissue. No. You put a bug inside of me to drop some drugs to the infected area, I guess, to the cancer cell area, to minimize the effects of the effects on the healthy tissue. Basically, you're trying to prevent the other healthy parts of your body to get infected. Now, I could understand that. That's okay. But do I really want a bug to be inside of me? No.
But that's the thing for me. If it's a case where the bug is going into me to treat something for a grand purpose, then fine. But also, this bug itself, it could go into you. Let's say you developed cancer. You have a tumor. It go into you. It attack that specific spot for the tumor, that specific cancer cell. Fine. But this could also be collecting information on me that when whoever controls it takes it out. You know all my business. You know if my lungs on the left, it on the right. If I have two kidney, I have one. If one
Exactly.
good, one bad. I mean, so this, as much as there are great, you know, advantages, there are a lot of disadvantages, you
Yeah.
know.
All right. So we
But
touched on advantages. So that was advantages. So I think now we could touch on like social and cultural impact. Because I remember last video we were talking about like how transhumanism doesn't just affect one person; it affects the whole society and the culture that everyone is a part of. For instance, we were talking about how how transhumanism could affect jobs, because we were talking about how where we live now and people are now becoming, well, jobs are now becoming more automated. But how do we adapt to the automation of jobs when now that humans can get certain abilities when it comes to transhumanism? For instance, someone can stay from their home and control a machine in an office somewhere just by doing whatever.
well, that to me sounds like work would be a lot easier. Things would be easier. We would have more time to focus on doing things that is actually necessary. But we know, and I say again, we know this is not going to be the case. This is going to be about world domination and world control, and who could control it best, and who could do this and who could do that. Because again, I just let me hear you, Riley. Oh, I just think it makes me, again, if I could sit from here and shoot something 50 miles away or do something like that, it just makes me lazy. And again, what is the point of being human or being here for this human experience if you have, conjoined or intertwined yourself into transhumanism? Then there's no point for me to live. Might as well the human just live for me and then I go somewhere else. Or might as well they create a world, if they want to do this, or this is a future that them see themselves in, create a world where the cyborgs can live and the humans can live separate, so there's no clashes, there's no interjections. So welcome back. We took a short water break, but yes, as I was saying before, if anybody feels the need to be a part of the transhumanism society, then maybe they could build their own planet or go aside and create their own world where they can do that for themselves. Let humans be humans. Let us live in harmony. Well, whatever harmony we have right now, and just try be together and to create togetherness. So Carol have 2 more points he wants to give, and we're going to be going a bit faster because we are limited for time.
So one of the things we were already talking about was, social and cultural impact. So culturally, people will have mixed feelings about transhumanism, and we all know that. Some are excited about the possibilities, and then there are others that are worried about losing what makes us really human. And honestly, some would ask the question, what really makes us human? And I would have to say that our emotions and the way we connect and bond is what makes us human. So there's a lot of other aspects, and Kemi, maybe you could talk about that. What do you think makes us human?
Also, the fact that you can born, you're brought into this world via the womb or via the coitus between a man and a woman. You come through the womb, you come through the portal of life, and the fact that you can die. So if it's a case where you no longer can die, you can transfer consciousness, you can upgrade your body so that you live forever. Maybe they should remove the human part of it and just says trans robotica, trans something, because there is nothing about being human in that category. Because for me, as I said, human is being officially birthing and officially dying. And we also spoke about, maybe back in, earlier up in the video, where we spoke about them being able to create babies via artificial intelligence, creating them in a lab instead of via the womb. Because as we realize these days, people are not really so focused on that. And being, as you said, being human is not only about that, it's all about being able to sympathize with somebody, to know when to show empathy. And I don't know if when you develop, if you train or transition your body into a robot or whatever you do, that makes you transhuman, if you would still have that human essence, or if you would no longer be, empathetic to the world, if you would lost feelings. I mean, some people already move that way, but
Exactly.
I don't know. But for me, being human is breathing, living and experiencing life, and just being here, realizing that you're not here for forever, but you're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah.
That's just my whole take on that concept there.
And Riley, you seem like you agree. So, Riley, do you agree, or you have anything different?
Yeah. I
You agree?
agree. But
Okay. So basically, sci-fi often explores these ideas, showing both utopias and dystopias, showing the good, the bad, the bountiful, but the less fortunate, and so forth. Movies like Blade Runner and Matrix, depict future technologies where humanity are deeply intertwined with technology, and it gives off mixed results. We know that culturally, but at the same time, too, economically, one of the questions we have to explore is who gets to be enhanced. Because if only the wealthy can afford these upgrades, we could see new forms of inequality, and inequality is always present right now, even in the world currently. So it's like a real life version of, for instance, what's that thing called? The Hunger Games, but with superhumans. Because when you look at it, for example, if life extension treatments are expensive and only the rich might benefit, that is going to create a greater divide in socioeconomic classes.
So, however, right, that is basically tipping into some of the ethical considerations that we have to speak about here.
Yeah.
Just to say, of course, with great power comes great responsibility. So if you say it's inequality, if only the wealthy can afford these enhancements or these upgrades, as you said, this would divide society into a bigger part of poorer or richer.
Yeah.
But shouldn't these technologies be made available to everybody, seeing that you're trying to intertwine technology into everything? It should not be, in my opinion, it should not be just for the rich and just for whoever can afford it. It should be for everybody.
Definitely.
If it's a case where you want to officially put your entire body as a robot and you can afford that, fine. But for me, as somebody who could use, for example, as we said before, the nanobots part of this technology, where you could go in and take out a particular gene. If this gene might cause a disease in the future, then that would decrease the population of that specific people who have that disease or whatever, and help to increase life. But for me, that's it here. If I really have any opinions on that, should technologies like this be made readily available to everybody, or if you think it's only for the rich?
I mean, right now, as because watch Elon Musk, he been in advanced technology, and only some people can afford it. Because I can't afford them things. Man, what are you? I can't
But
afford
let's say, if he decides to say, okay, I'm going to give everybody who lives on Earth one robot to their household, would you take that robot?
If I would take it?
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay, that's a fair enough answer.
That's a fair answer.
Because to be honest, I don't know either.
I don't know either. I don't know if I would take it. I don't know.
I might have to say, I might have to name him Reggie. Reggie, wash the ways, wash me clothes, rub me foot. Reggie might tell me, girl, you want too much. I quit. I might eat my ass and leave me there. So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
What would you down?
I mean, one can go on and talk about future scenarios in longevity and human augmentation and post-humanism, but these are some of the stuff we already touched on, where we talked about advances in medicine, and we talked about being recognizable as a human, whether your mind could be uploaded from your body to a computer. So those are some of the things we already touched on. And so to finish us off, we're just going to pinpoint some more ethical issues from Kemi's point of view, and then we're going to close up.
Just basically two more. It's the next one is loss of humanity. At what point do we stop being human? As we stated, when is the cutoff point for humanity? If we keep upgrading ourselves, do we risk losing our emotions? As we state, this is something that makes us humans, imperfections and individuality. So if everybody now upgrades to transhumanism section of life, or that part, I am no longer unique to this world. Riley is no longer him unique. Carol is no longer unique. We are all one in the same. So there's nothing special about us. We are like, So the next one we have is religious concern. Some religious groups believe that transhumanism is playing God. Of course, it's tampering with life and death in ways we are not meant to. How do we balance innovation with deeply held beliefs? As I said, if it's going to be used to help to increase life, the lifespan, for example, a child, maybe you want to live to, there are people who are living to 160, not 60, maybe 115. That's fine if you want to increase it, but not to say you want to live for millions of years and 10,000s of years. And if you just want to do it for recreational use because you feel having a robotic arm might make me stronger than the next man, more powerful, for me, that's fine. Also, something we mentioned before in the other video is that religion, as much as they might be against it, they might eventually come for it. Because, for example, let's say you put that chip in, everybody has to take that chip. Everybody has that chip. Let's say if you want to move to a society where we have one religion, one thinking, one people, you could then program something within that chip so all of us to move towards that one type of thinking. So of course it's playing God. They're already playing God today. So what's to eventually stop them from pushing it further beyond the boundaries that we already have in human to do that?
The lines
they already have trials. It's already been broken.
Yeah, the lines have already been crossed. The lines have already been crossed. Long time.
One more thing they have before, we wrap it up. Then I'll give a short wrap up, and then Carol will give a conclusion or closing. Finally, with these technologies, do you think that they would backfire? Could something be designed to help us or to enhance our life end up harming us? I watch iRobot. Them fuckers turned around. Sonny developed a conscious. Sonny had a consciousness. He had a dream. I don't want to be having no dream where Elon Musk robots look just like Sonny. If you realize the vehicles that Elon Musk created look just like the vehicles that were in iRobot. I don't know if you all paid attention to that, but I'm very observant and I watch theories. Right. So I don't know. It's a future that it looks like it's coming into play, but no robot ain't killing I. I going out upon I own. Okay. So as we took this deep dive into transhumanism, we explored its origins, the thinkers, as we told you about Max Mo, and we have Miss Cathy. That's not her name. Miss Natasha. Natasha. And we spoke about the father himself, the one who spoke about being superhuman, Mr. Niche, if that's his name, as you guys say it is. So what about you? Do you think it's a case where you want to live forever? You want to develop a better version of yourself? What would you do if you could do it? Do you think there is a value in staying fully human with all your flaws and just being yourself, being individualistic, being who you are, not being a part of a collective that is focused on upgrades that might reduce the human part of being human? So for now, that's all I have to say. Thanks from my side. Thank you for tuning in. We hope that we helped you to dive a bit deep and to think outside of the box and to open your consciousness about what this topic really means. Is it a future that we're already living in? Is it a future you see yourself in? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep imagining a future where humans are still humans. I mean, that's just my opinion. Let the others give the little things, and then we boom.
All right, so Riley, anything to finish off with?
Really, just saying, we just got when you cut our point with these things, because if you get too far, we never know what happen. That's me.
I mean, I don't want nobody take over my life, and I mean, I want nothing got to run my life other than me. So I don't think I want to be robot in any kind of way, tal. So I just feel like this is something that really will become even more hot topic as it progresses. I see Kemi like she wants to say something, so let her finish, and then.
One more point to throw in there before we go. We spoke about stuff like nanobots and the benefits of technology, but let's say, right, the earth was created for us. You have a plant of every kind that could cure every disease or anything that's on this earth. So why not use that? But again, technology is of mankind, and technology is the way of life. It seems like that's where we're going. So if you're a sheep, you'll follow the herd. You will take the jab, like we don't take the jab, and we will go with what they're going with now. But for me, as Carol said, I would prefer to stay a human, or as I say, I'm a spiritual being going through a human experience, and when this experience is over, I want to transcend. I don't want to relive this life.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I don't want to. I want my peace. I want my mind to be wherever I am. Not me mind, not me body there, but me mind here upon earth still a door. You come with me. So let's wrap up this thing, and as I said, and as Kemi said, thank you for joining us today. I think this discussion really helped us to talk about everything that relates to transhumanism, what excites you about transhumanism, what are concerns, and so forth. So you now just do your own self-reflection, ask yourself questions, relate with your thoughts, and thanks for tuning in, and stay with us as we continue to explore more topics probably in the future. So for now, peace out. All right.
Be outside.